we know you two have not talked since everything blew up. Now that you are facing your husband again, what you want to say to him about all this?
I want to start with an apology, even if it doesn't go very far. I am truly sorry for hurting you and for the pain that I can see that I have caused you. And this wasn't something that was intentional. It wasn't something that was planned or, with malicious intent. I should have been more honest about my feelings in the beginning, and I know that that's not the right way that I should have handled it. And I do want you to know that I see how much effort you put in.
If you were starting to have thoughts and feelings or connection or whatever it may be, why make me go through the dates? Why just dangle that carrot of hope when you already had essentially in your head made up, I'm going to pursue this with David?
I didn't have my mind made up right away. Every conversation that we had, every, date that we went on, everything that we did, it was all real. Like everything that we talked about was real. You can believe it or not. And I did want to come into this experience to find my person. And I should have been honest. I should have been more honest about that. I didn't see that with you. And I'm sorry for that.
Realistically, I could tell, I shouldn't have to work this hard to get somebody just to like me. But you've been playing this game with David for weeks, and continuing to go on with that, I think that's just repulsive. And I did think much, much, much more highly of you, like that you wouldn't be the type of woman that would do that. So.
Closure. Don't you owe him closure?
I honestly don't want it.
You don't want it?
Yeah, I don't need closure. Madison is easy to get over. The whole situation, it's like a switch in my mind. So yeah, there's no closure needed. I don't have any questions. I don't have any desire. Like none of her words hold any value in my eyes. I don't.
What about from David?
Oh no, he's like dirt to me. There's no.
Okay.
The thing that stood out to me, I'm looking at Madison's body language a lot of the time, looking at her eyes. I always forget which way you're looking when you're lying. And I didn't believe a lot of what came out of her mouth. The thing that stuck out to me was Alan not looking at her at all. And I don't blame him at all, because if that happened to me, I couldn't stand the person who would do that. I couldn't look, and it would just make me so angry, right? So that stood out to me. And then the way that Alan and Dr. Pia looked, where she said it wasn't planned or malicious, I was like, wasn't it planned though? Because you guys been doing this for weeks. It wasn't like it just happened. It was going on for weeks. Because they even showed a clip. I don't know if we talked about this in another video, where she was coming home like at 1 or 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And then one day, Alan was waiting for her on the couch. This was 3 days in a row, right? And then with production, they showed Madison and David in a split screen, showing how they both came in their apartments around the same time. 3 days in a row. So it's like, y'all been hooking up since then. Now they deny ever having sex, which none of us believe that at all. How she gets to the point where she wanted to apologize, but she was stringing him along. That bothered me, where it's like she's like, I didn't make up my mind right away. You knew from a little bit after, I'll say from the honeymoon, or if not shortly after, that she didn't want to be with that man. So don't go saying everything we did was real, all the dates. That got on my nerves. You have this man buy clothes that cost $3,000 worth of clothes. He got Invisalign to fix his teeth. He did X, Y, and Z, and you did nothing. You didn't change once at all iota. Not one iota you didn't change for him. So he's making all these efforts to change, and she wasn't. And I know Alan said that he knew deep down it was something wrong, and you shouldn't have to change yourself, and the other person's not changing at all for you in the relationship. So that really pissed me off about that. And how Alan said he shouldn't have to work that hard for having someone to like him, and you shouldn't. You just need to be yourself. If someone likes you, they like you. They don't, you don't. Like, I like how Alan kind of took a little shot at her, saying that she's easy to get over, and she was like, the way I look, what you mean I'm easy to get over? So I like that part, what Alan said. So that made me feel good inside. And she was trying to not hurt his feelings. So going behind his back with someone who's supposed to be his friend, you don't think that's going to hurt his feelings even more? Just saying, yeah, I don't like you, I don't think it's going to work. Yeah, it will hurt, but it'll be quicker to get over. And he won't be as upset as he is right now. If you haven't seen the show, or if you're curious, as of right now, even today, Madison and David are together as far as we know.
Now, a few things that I'm going to say here. Number one, don't ever trust a non-natural blonde, okay? I could tell Madison's not a blonde, okay? It's not even a good dye job, Madison. What the hell? But number two, I was all about two people in this show. Alan and David. I was all about them. Especially David. He's definitely cool, and he's got charisma, and he's got charm. Unfortunately, he used it against Alan, okay? Now, people may want to go out there and say, oh, the heart wants what the heart wants. Okay, you don't mess with a bro's wife in this situation, okay? If they were actual friends, this would have never happened. Now, at the same time, I'm going to get real here. Madison is the kind of woman that probably could get any man and probably always received all the compliments, so she puts herself on the high end, okay, echelon of women. And it sucks because she was stringing along Alan. Why? Because Alan was a placeholder. I hate to say that, but he was. She was changing him, and he was allowing it. So I can't fully put it on Madison either, because Alan did want this to work, and he showed that he was willing to do whatever it took. But as Jay said, Madison was not putting in the work because, quite frankly, she didn't have to. Alan was the one that had to work up for Madison, and it was never going to work. Madison is a horrible person because Alan even put it out there. Hey, if you're not digging me, tell me. Because I'd rather have that, rip off the Band-Aid than just peel it off slowly. I'm with that. But that's just what it boils down to. That Madison just used Alan up until David came along. Now, from what I understand, David and Michelle didn't work, and that I understand. I kind of encountered Michelle with one of the videos that we watched. I'm not surprised about that, but I expected better from David because he just seemed like a cool guy, but at the end of the day, he also was selfish about it. Again, he didn't have to go after Madison. He could have gone after anybody and hurt Alan along the way. This is why it's probably the phrase comes up that nice guys finish last. No, it's just nice guys will actually try. Nice guys will give you the benefit of the doubt that you're not going to screw them over. I know Jay said it seems that Madison and David are still together. I don't even know what to say. Good for them. No, I guess good for them in the sense that if they ended up screwing with Alan, at least it's not in vain because they're still together. Okay, so I guess in that sense, fine. Still be together, so that way at least you didn't hurt Alan for no reason.
So yeah, the one thing I wanted to mention, how you said, I think you said Madison didn't have to work. See, I don't agree with that because I don't care how she looks. Two people in a marriage, they need to work. They need to work. Because if she thinks she was just going to come in with her looks and that's all she had to do, that don't make any sense to me because people want to evolve and change over marriage regardless. I know Alan doesn't need any closure just because he heard everything he needed to hear as far as David and her being together. I wonder whose idea it was to tell Alan, because I wonder, was she too scared to tell him herself? Because David's actually told him, hey, I'm feeling your wife. We have a connection that you two don't have. And when he said that, I'm like, you never say it that way if you wanted to say something like that at all. What's wrong with just being honest, but not being hurtful at the same time? According to David and Madison, it all started at the gym, where they were complaining about their spouses or how it's not working or whatever you didn't like about the spouse. That's how it became to be. If you did this to your spouses and you know you wasn't going to be together, how would you treat a real relationship when you guys have rough times and tough times? Are you just going to bounce and find someone else, or are you actually going to talk through it?
Now, I can understand, at least from my end, why Alan didn't need closure. I think a lot of that was just confirmation of what he already felt, which is a horrible feeling, by the way. Madison and David were complaining about their spouses already. So Alan was definitely feeling all this, all in the wrong. So he kind of already knew. It's a bad thing that you had to hurt Alan along the way. But why need closure? Like Jay said, he don't need closure anymore. And I do enjoy the line that he says, Madison is easy to get over. It's not tough. Yeah, go ahead. Throw shade. I am with it. Even if it may not be true, because I'm sure Alan had more feelings for Madison. Still say it, okay? Try to put her in her place. I hate this because I was also on David's camp. I didn't like Michelle for him, but David turns around and does this. It sucks, Jay. I don't like this part. I don't like these two just because Alan is still my boy. David, I'm done with him. Don't tell me it doesn't cross your mind even a little bit when you're a breakup. That once you find the actual person and you know it wasn't your fault, because as Jay mentioned, as I mentioned, you shouldn't have to change that much about yourself. Compromise? Hey, that's part of a marriage, okay? Compromise. Meet in the middle. Not complete change.